Hi, this is Terry from Fabric Junction in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. Today I'm going to show you how to do an 8-pointed star that we put into a queen-size quilt. But you can make it smaller if you would like. We have the pattern for you, and I used 20 fat quarters plus a background fabric to make the queen. And like I said, it does come in 2 other sizes. And here is the beautiful queen-size quilt. And it has 4 different sizes of stars. The set in the middle, a little bit larger, and finally the largest on the outside. Yeah, like I said, this is a queen, but if you want, if you can do the center and 1 set of stars, you'd have a nice baby size. Add the next row and you have a wonderful lap. Or maybe you just want to do the center and add a border. That's all up to you. But let me show you how we're going to put our 8-pointed star together. You will cut 4 squares for the corners, and I have, and as you can see, once again I started sewing ahead of you, a nice big square for the center, and then for the star points you'll actually cut squares that we're going to cut in half diagonally, twice. And I'm going to stack mine, because I do generally cut these 2 at a time. You will actually work with 2 of the star points and 1 of your background. In my case, it's a gray. But you cut one direction. I like my turntable for this, so I don't have to pick anything up. I come back and cut again. Once I have cut, I should have 4 pieces. And I said I'll only need 1 of the gray for the points. I would have cut 2 of the color. I'm going to move my gray pieces out of the road. I don't need those. We'll start with a square and take my pieces. I'm going to the ironing board because I need to find the center. And to do that real quick, I just fold them and do just a little press. Just enough that I can see the center, because this is the side that I'm going to be sewing to the square. Get it going, there we go. And I'm going to grab both my squares and I'm going to sew this now to just 2 of the sides. So I only need to do 2 of them that are side by side. And that marks my center on both of those. And now I'm ready to sew. I'm going to move my cutter so you can see what I'm doing. I line my 2 little pressed sections together. It's got a little fold in it. Get it out. I get one side done. Going back to the iron. And I'm going to press that one open. And if I happen to press out my little fold, I will press it back in. I did not, but otherwise I'd fold it again and press it back in so I can see it. Back to the sewing, and we're going to place this one on the other side. Now we're going to do this to all 4 squares. All 4 of them that are in the corner. So you will have 4 of them that have taken on this shape. So you have 5 sides. So I guess we could call it a pentagon. They're not equal, but it is 5-sided. The next step, after you have your points on, we need to square it. And when we square it, this distance here across the top should equal the distance of your square, of your center square. So you want those two to match up. So as long as you know what your center square is, I have to stop and think. You can place this on there and see if it lines up. One of the things you want to watch for is to make sure that I need to trim off these little dog ears, and I've got a little bitty dip there, but I want to make sure I stay at a 1/4 inch, that this distance here stays a 1/4 inch. I need to kind of center across the line here. I'm going to switch this way. Find my, actually I'm reading the wrong lines. There we go. Back up, back up, back up, back down. There I go. I need to line it up. Sometimes you trim off quite a bit. Sometimes it's just very little that you're going to trim. But you'll trim that off. And in this case, I need to give it a quick turn, line it up on the other side and across the top, get it, and trim. And you do it to all your pieces. Okay, this one's just a little funkier. There we go. Really not much to trim off, just kind of a little, oops, I forgot to trim off this one. Just the little side. Once you have them trimmed, these are the pieces that actually will sit on each end. So the next step is you would take your gray that you cut, and we're going to sew them on to each side. I've already got one side done, but you just line it up. This one's a nice part because we do line it up on the corner, and because this is my nice square corner, that's where I like to sew from down to anything that has a point. And if you look, your overhang here will be basically a 1/4 inch. Might be smidgen less, smidgen more, but on the whole, that will be your a 1/4 inch. And you'll know it even more so when you actually sew it. Okay, with that, I now have all my points, and we're going to start assembling our block. So the first thing you need to do is add the ends. The block, when it's done, will be sewn together at a diagonal. Line up across the top, and I always make sure, or I try, you know, sometimes it's impossible to do. But anytime I have an X I'm crossing and nothing on the other side, I make sure the X is on the top. Because I want to make sure I cross that X so I'm not cutting anything off. So I'll set that down there. I'm crossing right up my X. I'm going to cut. And before I run over to press, I'm going to do the other side. Whoops. Make sure I put right sides together. Right sides together. Excellent. Whoop. And I came unthreaded. probably the reason I prefer trying to do all my chain piecing, because then I don't worry about my thread jumping out. And I know I could slip a piece of fabric in there every time I'm done, but half the time I don't think about it. It's not in my routine, so I don't always do it. Okay, I'm still lined up, cross my X, right over my X, there we go. And we press, in this case I'm going to press to the less bulky, which will be the side towards the end, towards the center. Oops, get that laid down. There we go. Oh, looking beautiful. So now I can line up here, and I have 2 seams I need to line up on. And I want to see my X, so I'm going to flip it over. You can pin those. If they tend to move on you, go ahead and pin them. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm still on. Line this one up because I have them pressed opposite directions. They just want to lay down like they're supposed to. Oh, now what did I do? I lost my thread again. Today is my day to lose my thread. And let me get to the cutter. Cut me a nice edge. So have you ever had one of those days to where your thread just kind of, oh, we'll leave it out. Needle up, got it. Where your thread just wants to break. I get those every once in a while. Where my thread breaks on me 3 or 4 times in a row, and then all of a sudden it just straightens out and sews like it's supposed to. Okay, come on. And I broke it a second time. That it doesn't want to. Well, I know you've got the idea of what we're doing, because I was only going to try to get one side of this done. The good thing is these newer machines thread so fast, and with a needle threader, one more try. Take it easy, nice and straight. There we go. It even sounds better. Okay, made it to the end this time. And you get the idea, and I'd actually sew the other side before I got done. And then you can press either direction, whichever you decide is the less bulky for you. Because we're sewing at an angle. We've got our points are matched up beautifully. I just need to sew on my other one. And there is the 8-pointed star that we use in our pattern called Under the Stars. It's a nice big quilt, and by the time you're done you could make these stars in your sleep. So I hope you've enjoyed watching our video, and do check out our other videos for different techniques and different patterns. We do appreciate you watching us here at Fabric Junction. Have a great day, and hopefully you too will like to be sleeping under the stars.